and welcome back. So, Alpha 2026 bold idea, messy execution. After winning the Palm d'Or for Titan, Julia had everyone's attention. So, naturally, her next film, Alpha, comes with big expectation. And on paper, it sounds powerful. A story inspired by the AIDS crisis of the 80s and 90s, aiming to explore stigma, fear, and empathy. And to be fair, the intention is genuinely admirable. Julia wants to confront a painful past to remind people how fear and misinformation can destroy lives. But here's the problem: Alpha doesn't fully work. The film follows a young girl named Alpha. She's isolated, bullied, feared by others, but people don't understand what she's going through. Sounds familiar? That's because the film is clearly drawing parallels to the HIV/AIDS epidemic. But instead of a real disease, Julia introduces a fictional one. In this world, a blood-borne illness slowly turns people into stone. Literally, it starts with coughing up dust, then stiffness, and eventually the body becomes a lifeless, marble like shell. It's a striking metaphor. Visually, it's even haunting, but narratively, it feels heavy handed. At times, the film plays less like a story and more like a message, almost like a very dark, stylized after school special. And part of the issue is timing. The film feels like it's trying to correct misinformation that most people today already understand. So instead of feeling urgent, it comes across as slightly out of touch. That said, Alpha isn't without its strength. The opening sequence is classic Julia, a chaotic party scene filled with neon colors, drugs, and raw energy. It's intense, uncomfortable, and immediately pulls you in. But after that, the film slows down a lot. It becomes more focused on family drama: Alpha's relationship with her overprotective mother, her troubled uncle struggling with addiction, and a household filled with tension, fear, and confusion. There are moments here that almost work, especially when the film leans into emotion instead of metaphor. One standout moment is when Alpha breaks down, admitting she is simply too young to handle everything happening around her. And for a brief second, the film clicks. You feel the fear, the vulnerability, the love between mother and daughter. But moments like this are rare. Instead, the film gets lost in its own structure. It jumps between timeline, blurs reality and metaphor, and eventually turns into a chaotic montage that's more confusing than impactful. You are left asking questions, but not in a good way. Not what does this mean, and more like what was this trying to say. Even subplots like the film's family's cultural background feel underdeveloped. They add visual texture but not much emotional depth. In the end, Alpha feels like a film torn between two directions: a deeply personal story and symbolic message driven experience, and unfortunately, it never fully balances the two. A visually striking and well intentional film that struggled to turn its powerful themes into a coherent, emotional, satisfying story. I'll give it a 2.5 out of 5. Thank you for watching. Bye.